Hey guys, I know I am in the same outfit. What can I say? I needed an intro. I just felt kind of weird showing you all my makeup products and I'm talking, just looking at stuff on my table. But today we are going to be doing a finale. I got a blushes one to do. Just kidding. But I'm going to do a combination of different products in my makeup collection because there are a few more items in here, so I think I can just, join them together. So we're going to be doing my makeup collection for my bronzers. Yes, my bronzers, my highlighters, and all my face products. So that includes my powders as well as my foundations and any other gizmos and gadgets aplenty. Who's its and what's its galore. Finish the lyrics in the comments down below. But that will be today's video. I hope you guys enjoy it, and until the next video, I hope you all are doing well, taking great care of yourselves. I will see you all in the next video. Be sure to check me out on Instagram if you haven't done so already. It will be the first link down below. Don't forget to click that subscribe button. My hands are going in all directions, but I really do hope you stick around and join this YouTube family here. Straight into the makeup collection. Bye guys. We're going to begin the video by going over the powders that I currently have and will be using up. So the first one here is the MAC Studio Fix. I do use the shade NC40 and have had this for quite some time. I did lend it to my mom for a little bit and then got her into Studio Tech. So I did get it back and I've been using it quite a bit. Obviously, there's a very nice dent in it. Here we have Patrick's powder, which was part of his collection. I have a sponge in here that I did get from that Studio Fix powder compact. As you can see, this translucent powder does have a bit of a pink undertone to it. I don't think it's completely translucent, to be honest. There is a white cast when I put it on, but it does wear very well and I love the finish that it gives my skin. It is a matte finish, obviously, especially if you bake, but it's not as drying as some of the other powders I've tried. This is my drugstore powder and I've used this for many years. I use it in the shade Nude Beige, and I will say that it is pretty light. However, I find that after I put my bronzer on, it gives me just the perfect amount of coverage because I do like to put this predominantly in the center of my face since it is a mattifying powder. And I've gone through, I believe, 2 of this already and working on this current one. Next is my well-loved Mineralized Skin Finish Natural. I am in the shade Medium Dark and I have used this powder for a good amount of time. There is a healthy flat surface here, which it does come usually domed, and I love this shade for my complexion. It goes very well with it, and if you like a light dust of powder with a bit of a healthy glow finish to it, this is the powder for you. Lastly, we have the Laura Mercier Translucent Setting Powder. As you can see, the powder seems a bit dark, and the reason is because I bought the deep color version of this loose powder and I had emptied some of it. I'd say about a third of what comes in a normal size container. I poured it directly into this container. I started to shake it and let the product sift through, and that is how I mix the 2 colors together. And this for me is a perfect match to my skin complexion. Moving on to my other face products, here I have the Makeup Forever Step 1 Skin Equalizer in Smoothing Primer, and I am just about done with this. I don't think it's the best in terms of oily skin control, but it does fill in the pores very nicely, and I do have another Makeup Forever one that I'm going to be pulling out. The other primer that I use is the Becca Ever Matte Poreless Priming Perfector, and if you have oily skin, I suggest, and I mean like heavily oily skin, I suggest you try this out. It is extremely mattifying. Like, I cannot stress that to you enough, but it also does fill in your pores. So if you struggle heavily with oily skin, definitely give this a try. Here is a sample of the MAC Strobe Cream. I have been loving this to include with my foundation. That is what it looks like. I mix it in with my foundation and I feel like it gives me just such a subtle glow. I have oily skin, but I do appreciate a glow every now and again with my foundation. And here we also have my well-loved Wonder Glow from Charlotte Tilbury. And whereas the other one was more pink, this is a bit more champagne. And so, oh, you can heavily see my veins. That's what you get when you just come from the gym. But as you can see, it's very champagne-y, very gold-like, and so it's nice to have those two options. And here we have Fix Plus. This item needs no introduction. I basically use it for a bunch of reasons to, you know, have my eyeshadows show up a little bit more, to set my face, to moisten up my beauty blenders. It is an all-purpose product and a must-have in my makeup collection. Here we have the Estee Lauder Double Wear Foundation. This shade here is in Honey Bronze and this one is in Tawny. I recently did get this. This was before my no buy, just in case you were wondering. And I did want to get this shade because I feel like this is slowly getting a bit too dark for me and it somewhat oxidizes on my skin. So mixing this together has given me the perfect combination and I'm so thrilled because this has to be my favorite long wearing foundation that I found so far. It just works wonders on my skin. I absolutely love this for full coverage, on the go type of makeup looks. If I don't want to use any makeup or have a no makeup look, I go to my MAC Face and Body Foundation and I am in the shade C4. This too is slowly getting a bit too dark for me, so if anything, if I do run out of this, I will probably end up getting the C3. And lastly, we have my current favorite foundation. This is the NARS Natural Radiant Longwear Foundation. This is absolutely genius. It is a medium coverage foundation, but it wears like absolutely nothing on the skin. And if you're wondering, I am in the shade Sahel. And if I'm pronouncing that incorrectly, please let me know. But I've used this time and time again. You've probably seen it more than enough times. Moving on to highlighters, we have the Essence Pure Nude Highlighter. This is in the shade Be My Highlight. Can we just admire how beautiful this is? This is a champagne, but it does have a bit of that nude shift, so it's not very light in color. It does wear beautifully on the skin, and I would say about an NC37 for reference. This goes on beautifully. It is not a heavily pigmented highlighter, which is my personal preference. This is my NARS Tribulation blush. I know I said it was a blush, however, it doesn't seem like a blush to me. Now this has to be my favorite highlighter of all time. The only reason I try to avoid using it in videos is because it's limited edition or it was discontinued. And so that's why I refer people to the Essence highlighter, because I think it's very similar. This is just a smidge more gold in comparison to the Essence one. However, they wear very similar. I do prefer this one a bit more, but they wear similar in that they're not very heavy highlighters. They look natural on the skin, which really works well for me because of my textured complexion. Not complexion, textured surface of the face. Next, we have the ever famous Bobbi Brown, and this is her highlighting powder in Bronze Glow. It's just the most gorgeous bronze golden shade that you can possibly think of, and I love how it goes on my skin. I love this. I had a couple of the mineralized skin finish compacts from MAC, but I did eventually get rid of everything except this shade. There's absolutely no way I can give this up because I find it to be the best blush topper ever. This is in Cheeky Bronze. This is a rose gold type of shade, but it does have that gold veining in it. So when it's applied to the skin, it just looks phenomenal, just phenomenal. Here we have the Anastasia highlighter. This is in Riviera, and this happens to be my only cool toned highlighter that I own. As you can see, it's got this very taupe-ish feel to it. That is exactly what it looks like on the skin. And what collection would it be without some Becca highlighters? So I do have two in my collection. This is in Moonstone, and I believe this is the lightest shade that they have in their permanent skin perfecting line. This I would describe as almost a white gold. It is definitely on the lighter side, and I do find that I need to use a light hand when I apply this, but I really like to use this highlighter when I do more fresh looking makeup. And lastly, this needs no introduction. We have Champagne Pop. It is just classic. It's a cult favorite. Jaclyn Hill did right by Becca with this. It is an amazing highlighter. These Becca ones are definitely pigmented, and so a light hand is in order if you don't like heavy looking highlighters. But if you want to glow and glow to the gods, you definitely need to get your hands on some Champagne Pop. Here we have my cream bronzer. It is absolutely disgusting. I apologize, but I wanted this to be as truthful and honest as it can be. This is the Tom Ford Shade and Illuminate Intensity number 2. This is a cream highlighter and a cream bronzer. I do use it predominantly for the bronzer. However, this is a beautiful highlight if you prefer that very wet but not necessarily blinding highlighting look. This is gorgeous. This is definitely a very rich, warm brown shade. The other contouring shade that I have is the Soleil Tan de Chanel by, well, Chanel. This product too is absolutely well loved. I am probably going to get to the bottom of this very soon. This is the lighter of the 2 cream contours that I have. If I had to pick, I would probably pick this one. And for those of you wondering, this does show up as a contour on my skin, and I really do hope that Chanel never ever discontinues this product, because I absolutely adore it. So here we have a contouring kit that I put together myself. It is a palette from MAC. Here you have a yellow highlighting shade, and then these other 2 are more contour / bronzer shades. These 2 here I would say are very contour esque type of shades. They are cool tone, and so they will mimic shadows a lot better. This one as well, but I prefer to use this very sparingly at the back ends of my cheekbones, just to enhance shadow but not necessarily bring it towards the center of my face, because it will end up looking muddy. And this one here is a bronzer. I will tell you that the formulation on these is by far better than ones that you can get in those single compacts. These blend beautifully onto the skin. It almost feels like butter, and it is so pigmented. I do own 2 Tom Ford bronzing powders. This first one here is in Gold Dust, and this is a very typical bronzing color. It does have very fine shimmers in it, and the shimmer in it is gold. Will I buy it again? Probably not, because I do prefer Laguna, but if you're interested in getting a Tom Ford bronzer, this is a fairly good option. And this next one that I have is in the shade Terra, and in contrast, this one does have a bit more red in it, and it is completely matte. Here is a MAC bronzer. This is their matte bronze. This is in a limited edition packaging. However, this product is in the permanent line, and this is your traditional warm bronzer. It does have a slight bit of cool tone to it. So this is one of those bronzers. I mention it time and time again that I think the perfect type of bronzer is something that's neutral, something that you can double up as both a bronzer and a contour, and this is very close to it. But I do think that this is definitely more warm than anything. Too Faced Chocolate Soleil Bronzer, the original, the OG packaging. If you have been bronzing for some time, you definitely at one point own this. If not, have tried it, swatched it, whatever. I'm getting a whiff of the chocolate scent. It is extremely strong, and it's making me want to eat some sweets. Here we have the infamous, the well-loved, as you can see, it's quite dirty, the NYC Smooth Skin Bronzing Face Powder, and it is in the infamous Sunny. This bronzer, although it looks like a typical bronzing color, this is so pigmented. If I'm not cautious of how much I put on my brush, I can definitely apply way too much, which blows my mind because it doesn't look that dark in the pan, and I can always rely on this bronzer. This is embarrassing, but this is how much I've loved my NARS bronzers. I love it. This is Casino, and Casino is the go-to bronzer if I feel like contouring myself or bronzing myself to the gods. If I want people to see my contour and bronzer from about 1.5 miles away, I will put on Casino. There is no other bronzer that I will go to. This is a very warm, almost reddish bronzer, and so if you do prefer a red tone bronzer, well, here you go. I wanted to save this for last because it just looks horrible. I've demolished this Laguna bronzer. Like I open it like a book. Laguna for a while was something that I could rely on, but it wasn't necessarily my first pick. However, I want to say within the past half a year, beginning of the year, I have been going to this bronzer so freaking much. It amazes me because this does have more apparent gold shimmers in it. It's not, again, it doesn't look like glitter on the face. It's a very nice luminous glow on the skin, but you will be able to see the gold on your face when applying it. I think the color itself is neutral, but because of the kind of heaviness of the gold inside the actual bronzer, it makes the skin look neutral but golden at the same time. This is pure genius. I know there are other bronzers similar to it, but because I haven't tried them out, I'm gonna stick to Laguna, because if it ain't broke, don't fix it, you know? I hope you guys enjoy this video. After looking at my vanity, I believe I have 2 more videos to do, which will be my lip products as well as my blushes, and those will be 2 separate videos. And I hope you guys stick around to watch them as well as all my future videos. Until the next one, I hope you all are doing well, taking great care of yourselves. I will see you all next time. Bye guys.